Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Betholkis, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, everybody. Before we get started here, let me take care of some business. And thank you, by the way, Raymond. I just saw that. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. You can also hit the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you when I'm on next. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com and take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also have all the links to my social media on there. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, and also have links to my pages. So my Facebook page, this YouTube channel page, and a Facebook group page for those of you who still have Facebook where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. Yeah, I had to postpone like an hour because little dog had to get vaccinations and, all that kind of good stuff. So that's what that was all about. Ring his bell or get your belt. Nah, I don't hit people for that, but thanks, Raymond. So let's get started, shall we? So we got the season 2 teaser trailer, I guess they said, for The Witcher season 2. And we got a release date finally. We got a release date of December 17th. The trailer looks good. I'm not reading too much into it because, again, it's a teaser trailer. It's the first trailer out there. We'll see what happens with this one. And I like the first season. I really did. And I'm looking forward to the second season, definitely. Even with all the delays that we had going on. So yeah, December 17th, we get the new Witcher season 2. And right after that too, we also get August 23rd, we get The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf animated movie, which also comes out on Netflix. August 23rd is a Monday, if I remember correctly, which is kind of weird for, Netflix actually putting out on a Monday, but sure, that's double The Witcher right there. Hey, Apple Crow. Apple Crow says, I'm actually here today. All my nerd friends are busy. You have friends? I kid you. We know you don't. Raymond says that'll give me enough time to finally play The Witcher 3. December, Stanley says, that's so far in the future. Well, you got other stuff to look forward to, like, August 11th, you've got Marvel's What If is coming to Disney Plus, and that's going to be a weekly release too, by the way. So Marvel's What If animated series, What If, like the comic, which is overseen by the Watcher, and he looks at different realities and what happens there. And this one I'm really jonesed for. I've been looking forward to this ever since they announced it, and now that it's not under Jeff Loeb, that it's under Kevin Feige, I'm a lot more jazzed about it and looking forward to this, especially since a lot of the voice actors in it are from the Marvel universe, from the MCU. So Chris Hemsworth, excuse me. It's Chadwick Boseman's last performance too, by the way. Yeah, he plays T'Challa, of course. And so it's his final performance in there. And so that's, gonna rip up a lot of people. Also Michael B. Jordan's in there, Haley Atwell. There's a lot of people that are going to be in this, voicing this, and so I'm definitely looking forward to this. Stanley said I never finished the main storyline of the game. I never played the video game, so of The Witcher. Yeah, sorry, I just didn't. Silverhawks, the old 80s cartoon that was supposed to be. It was supposed to be kind of like the Thundercats in a way, but set in the future in the 29th century, and is a group of cops, like I guess you could say bio-enhanced or technologically enhanced cops. They had bionics put in them that were fighting crime. They were fighting a future crime syndicate. That's being revived by the Nacelle Company. So a San Francisco toy company actually started making some high-end Silverhawks, not high-end, but Silverhawks toys, and they're selling really, really well, like a lot of interest in them. And so the nacelle company's like, maybe we can do profit off of this. And so they're going to revive this. We don't know if it's going to be revived as a movie, live action movie, TV series, animated, what. We just know that they said they're going to revive it, which is going to be interesting. Yeah. Apple Crow says, I'd say watch cinematics of Witcher 1 and 2 because the stories are great, but the combat is not. Okay. Star Wars Vision is what Apple Crow asked. Yeah, I saw that Star Wars Visions is out there, but they really haven't done anything other than a teaser on that one. I know it's coming out to Disney Plus, and they really that's it. They just did the teaser, and there's not really much out there on there. So yeah, it's more anime. It's manga in a way. They're using So it's a bunch of Japanese animation houses that are taking Star Wars and kind of giving it their spin on there, and we'll see what happens with it. That's pretty much the gist that I've gotten off of it. Um, yeah, I wasn't too enamored by what I saw, but then again, it was fairly brief. Yeah. Stanley says Silverhawks sounds like octogenarian warmongers. It's Thundercats set in the future is really what it is. Well, Thundercats already set in the future, kind of, sort of. I don't know, but yeah, there you go. Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, they've canceled Cursed after only one season. So Cursed, I covered it on Is It Worth Your Time? Is It Worth My Time? And it really wasn't. It wasn't great. Yeah, and I don't see it as a great loss that Cursed has been canceled because yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't great, and it was on that fence anyway. So yeah, it's not a big loss, quite honestly. It's Frank Miller anyway, and the less money Frank Miller gets in his pocket, that crazy old bastard, the better. Stanley says not enough teenage schoolgirls in Star Wars. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, Stanley. Thundercats, but with Silverhawks. Not Silverfish, but Silverhawks, yes. Joker says Biohackers season 2 dropped yesterday. Okay. Stanley said, wasn't Cursed already canceled a long time ago? That was in the other universe, Stanley. So it finally caught up in our universe too. That it got canceled in this one. Raymond says King Arthur adaptations are not really that good. I'm hoping the Green Knight will be good. I don't think it's going to be that great, Raymond. I hate to say it, but I don't think it's going to. I really liked the Charlie Hunman version of it. That one, the Guy Ritchie one. I like that version. It seemed like a one of those stories that was being told by somebody, and so it was embellished and it was bigger than life. And that's what I liked about it. It was actually a good story, and it moved along at a good pace. It was fun in places, and yeah, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It's on HBO Max, if I remember correctly. I might watch it again just because I enjoyed it, and also just the big creatures that they had too, and yeah, it was fun. Apple Crow says massive amounts of great female characters in Star Wars. So when they decide to make movies, they go random, poorly forced protagonist. Yeah. Looks like the kind of weird I like that Dennis doesn't. What are you talking about? The Green Knight? The Green Knight, like I said, it looks okay. It looks interesting, but I just don't think it's going to be all that good. There's something about it that has my spidey sense going off that there's something that's not going to go right with it. Dare I mention Blood Machines again? I don't know what that is, but sure, go ahead. You just mentioned it. Stanley says I couldn't watch Biohackers. It didn't seem good for the first few minutes, but it's normal for German TV shows. Okay. Stanley says Dark is one of the few exceptions. I tried watching Dark. I really did, and I couldn't get into it. Sorry. I tried. I really, 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 really tried. I'm actually looking forward to this one. So Matthew Vaughn is working on a new spy thriller franchise called Argyle, and it's supposed to be about a spy novelist, a really like good spy novelist, who turns out to actually be a real spy that has amnesia. And the cast that he's already putting together for this franchise is actually pretty impressive. He's got Henry Cavill, Samuel Jackson, Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, and John Cena. That's what he's got so far put together on this. And with that kind of an impressive cast, I'm like, shit, all right, I'm definitely going to see this. Also, I like Matthew Vaughn's movies. I haven't seen even his bad movies. I guess you could say his bad movies are still actually pretty good. They're a lot of fun. They're kinetic, I guess you could say. They have some good style to them, and they're funny. They're actually well written too. So I'm actually good with that. Hey, Mr. Roboto. So yeah. Apple Crow says Blood Machines is still stuck on Shudder and broken into 3 episodes, but it is trippy sci-fi space opera made on a shoestring budget. Yeah, I still haven't made it over to Shudder. There's just so much stuff out there, quite honestly. I can only capture so much of it, and I do have a day job as it is, and yeah. So, and I still need to like get things going here too with memberships and things like that. So I do work on that on the side as well. So there's only so many hours in a day I've got, and if I can clone myself, that would be a lot better. Although I don't think people would like 2 of me. One is Manimal getting rebooted, and Stargate. Stargate will get rebooted long before Manimal will. I'll tell you that much. But what's not getting rebooted and it's getting a sequel? The Tomorrow War 2 is now being discussed over at Amazon Prime, and it most likely is happening. Why? I have no idea. I mean, I thought they ended this after the first movie here. I mean, the first movie, spoiler alert, we won. That's, yeah. I don't know. Unless they're going to deal with the paradox that they caused in the time travel stuff. And then that would be interesting if they could actually do that in the sequel and go, oh, you know what? We fucked everything up. So. Apple Crow says, I kind of dread Stargate getting rebooted depending on who does it. It's going to be J.J. Abrams, Apple Crow. You already know that. It's either J.J. Abrams or Rian Johnson, one of the two. Or J.J. Abrams will do it and he'll contract out to Rian Johnson. Stanley says, I love the Tomorrow War pitch meeting YouTube video. I didn't see that. Albacore says, but Dennis, now we know there are aliens, and who's to say there was only one ship? True. This is true. Excuse me. Albacore says 9 was a tantrum that 8 didn't do the job 7 was supposed to do. That's true. 9 was actually the attempt to erase 8. Because 7 didn't set anything, in concrete, I guess you could say. Or in writing. Lovecraft Country's Misha Green, the creator, that created that first season there. Well, since it's been canceled over at HBO, Misha Green has gone over to Apple and has signed a multi-year deal with Apple, which means very few people ever see that shit. I personally only know like a handful of people who have Apple. that watch, any shows on Apple. It's I don't know, man. It's one of those things that seems like it's very niche. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I know more people have YouTube TV than have Apple. And a lot more people that have YouTube TV than Apple. Um, Raymond says, all jokes aside, who is really the best living sci-fi director? John Carpenter. Yeah. Excuse me. I would say John Carpenter. It would have been James Cameron, but he just decided to do Avatar 19 through 55, and ugh, no one wants that. I mean, no one wants that. Yeah. Apple Crow says, if I could get Apple TV without having an Apple product, I might watch some of it. I want to say Fire TV has it, but I doubt it. I might be talking out of line on that one. Yeah. I agree with you, Stanley. I don't want to give any money to Apple. And it was kind of funny. So, my previous job, they gave me an iPhone for a work phone. And I remember when I first tried to connect it to my home modem, it tried overwriting some of the stuff in my modem. And I actually had to forcibly turn it off in order to stop it. And I thought it was just me. And then I read a report recently that it's actually an issue that Apple phones in general, there's something in the programming that will sometimes it'll interfere with modem usage, and you literally have to turn things off, or it overwrites some of the programming in people's Wi-Fi settings, which is a problem as far as I'm concerned. That's a huge problem for me. I don't like phones that try and do that kind of shit without telling me about that. So yeah. Apple Crow says James Cameron makes action movies, not sci-fi. He just puts them on spaceships. Let's see. Let me see if I was looking up here. Who would be? Yeah, I would still have to go with John Carpenter on it. Quite honestly. Yeah. I mean, Doug Liman's probably a close second as far as I'm concerned. He could actually make some really good sci-fi stuff, but he would need to like really get into it, like balls deep into it. And I'm talking about from the ground up, not he'd have to wade into it balls deep. There you go. I am Saya says, oh no, I kind of feel sad Curse doesn't get another season, but my even guiltier pleasure is Shadow and Bones anyway. And that's been canceled too. Sorry, Saya. Or wait, no, Shadow and Bones got a second season. That's right. I misspoke on that one. That's right. That was one of the things that was not canceled by Netflix. Yeah. Stanley says, I repeat, Dennis Villeneuve is the best. No, I heard you the first time, Stanley. That's why I ignored you. I ignored you, because it's true. Thank you, Mr. Roboto, for the $2. How long to the Battlestar Galactica estimate? What do you mean, like the cost to do another Battlestar Galactica? I know that Sam Esmail is working on. He's producing it. He's producing the one on Apple, and I don't know when that's coming out. I actually follow Sam Esmail on Twitter, and he hasn't given any updates on it. I think he's kind of forgotten about it too, like we all have. Sorry about that. I am Saya. There's been so many things that have been canceled by Netflix that I can't remember which ones are which anymore. And I think Shadow and Bones was just one of those things I was hoping was canceled, but I remembered it wasn't. Yeah, happens. Oh, Apple Crow says, I love fantasy comedy, Doralicious and Associates, Journey Quest, Harmon Quest. You like quest things? Vision Quest? What else do I have here? Evil has been renewed for a third season on Paramount Plus. Another station that really nobody watches, unless you're a Star Trek, the Star Trek, aficionado, I guess you could say. That's what CBS All Access turned into, is Paramount Plus. But Evil got taken over to there, and yes, they've been renewed for a third season, which is a shame because Mike Coulter was actually a really good Luke Cage, and I was kind of hoping he'd reprise his role for Luke Cage. And I was hoping Evil would be canceled so he'd be free to do Luke Cage in, like they could bring him into She-Hulk or something like that. Introduce him. So there is a rumor out there right now that Charlie Cox is going to be playing Matt Murdock in the first season of She-Hulk, considering that he is a lawyer and this is a law comedy, I guess is what's going. It's going to be a courtroom like comedy, half-hour sitcom kind of thing. And I could see Matt Murdock coming in, and he's interacted with She-Hulk before in court cases and things like that. So yeah, I could see that. I am Saya says, used to be Flash, so I guess I could go back for its 20th season or whatever they are, but it's just not the same. Yeah, they're on season 7 right now, I believe is where they're at. I am Saya, and it's pretty dismal. I actually tried watching the last episode and I fell asleep. Yeah. Agent Future says, I wish Netflix focused on 20 good TV shows instead of making over 100. So, Agent Future, they literally put out every year over 1,000. It was growing. It was like 700, then 900. Now it's over 1,000 shows that they produce, shows and movies over a year. So yes, they do over 1,000 shows and movies a year. But I agree with you. I wish they would focus on some good stuff and boil it down, get some good stuff going and focus their money into that. And then, not do the really shitty stuff. I dig some of the stuff that's overseas too. I mean, I wouldn't mind if they brought that to us and, introduced it. They have been doing that slowly but surely. I mean, they've been bringing stuff in, but they've been bringing in the really shitty stuff. There's a few gems here and there, but nothing that is really like, wow. HBO Max is doing the same thing. Like I said, with The Foreigners, who knew Norwegian TV, was actually going to be that good. I liked The Foreigners a lot. Yeah. And I want more of it. And I like the premise of it. I mean, the premise of it is actually really good. You guys talking about the quests? Johnny Quest? Anybody for Johnny Quest? I know you guys have Harmon Quest and Dragon Quest and Vision Quest and Quest, but no Johnny Quest. There's also the quest for more money. That's usually what most sequels are. What else do we have here? Sony Pictures is developing an animated series based on the comic Faust. So Faust has been around since 1980s. So I want to say like late 80s, 87, somewhere around there. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1987. There we go. So Faust follows John Jaspers, a tormented vigilante who sells his soul in exchange for superpowers and must then rise against Mephistopheles to rescue his lover, Dr. Jade DeCamp, and win back his soul. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, this is going to be an animated series from Sony Pictures. It sounds good. It's got kind of a good premise to it. I know it's been running. I've seen it in comic shops over the years, and people have talked about it. So Stanley says, isn't Faust from 1500s at least, if not before? The name Faust, yes, but this comic book Faust is a different thing. It's actually a long running comic. It's a fairly long running comic. Mr. Roboto asks, could they do Back to the Future 4 as its time passed? It passed. Yeah. Stanley says, I liked the Northman comedy show. I tried watching that, man, and I just couldn't get into it. Who publishes the comic? Ooh, that's a good question. I can't remember who published that comic. Let me take a look at the link that I've got here. Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember. Rebel Studios. Rebels, yeah, released by Quinn and Vigil's Rebel Studios in 1987. Yeah. So Black Mask Entertainment. So Black Mask is another smaller distributor, I guess you could say. It's based here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And yes, they are the ones I believe who are overseeing that right now. So maybe that's who it's going through. Mm-hmm. And I guess it was adapted to the screen with a 2000 Spanish English language film, Faust, Love of the Damned, directed by Brian Usna. And I heard it wasn't that great. But then again, the budget was pretty small from what I understand, which normally happens. Apple Crow says, hey, my new cocktail book just got here from Amazon in a Tomorrow War box. I wonder if these will be collectible. Probably not. Because you can get those in the future. See what I did there? Mr. Roboto says, so we get Faust, but no Manimal. No, we're not going to get Manimal, Mr. Roboto. I'm glad you keep bringing it up, but we're not going to be getting that. Stanley says, by the way, I liked the last Bad Bunch episode. So by internet rules, that means you're wrong, is what he tells me. I liked it too, but the thing is, it didn't move the story along of the main story. It's not called Hera Syndulla. It's called The Bad Batch. It's not called Star Wars Hera Syndulla or Star Wars The Syndulla Family. It's called Star Wars The Bad Batch. And it's supposed to be about the Bad Batch. And we're not moving that story along, is what's happening. And while I appreciate, the backstory on Hera and her family, again, it's not moving the main story along. We have no reason why this series exists. They don't know either. It seems to be spinning its wheels. So that's where I'm at on that one. Apple Crow says, I ordered some herb too. They came mint in box. Nice. Stanley says, I like what happens with the Empire episodes more. Yeah, I like seeing what happens with the Empires as well, but I want to know what this whole thing is supposed to be about. Yeah. If I see it as I see it as a Clone Wars sequel. Okay. A lot of people don't. A lot of us, being me and other people as well, and it's a good majority of people, are trying to see it as its own thing. Yes, it is part of the Clone Wars saga, but now it's its own entity and it needs to have its own identity. And that's kind of what Rebels did. That's what Resistance tried to do, and it just was really bad at it. And that's just because it was based on a faulty storyline. But yeah, it needs to kind of find its own mojo, I guess you could say. Yeah. They could call it Star Wars Legends of the Fall. You need to workshop that one a little bit more, Apple Crow, and get it back to us. Just a tiny bit more on that one. Actually, a lot more. Give it a couple more weeks, maybe a few months. Then come on back around again. Blade Runner Black Lotus is an animated series that's being done by Adult Swim and Crunchyroll. Excuse me, Crunchyroll. And it's actually got some fairly decent voice actors in there. I know Jessica Henrich is in there, or Hendrick is the one who played Colleen Wing on Iron Fist. So yeah, here we go. Jessica Henwick, Arisa Shida, William Lee, Shinsu Fuji, Samira Wiley, Takako Honda, Brian Cox, Wes Bentley, Josh Duhamel, Titan Kusunoki, Peyton List. I mean, the names go on and on and on and on. So they actually have a really good voice actor list here for Blade Runner: The Black Lotus. I just don't know where, if it's going to be behind the Adult Swim paywall. I'm hoping not. So that's what kind of pisses me off about Adult Swim is it's supposed to be free, right? Because it's supposed to be broadcast TV, yet it's behind a paywall. A lot of episodes. Also, it's supposed to be part of HBO Max as well. Yet again, episodes are blocked behind. They're looking for they want you to have an actual cable provider in order to watch it. And I'm like, yeah, just not going to do it. Yeah. Raymond says clones aren't copies. That's the point of Clone Wars. Also, why twins are different. Yep. Exactly. Applecrow says, what little I saw of Resistance felt like a whack-a-mole game with Filoni putting good Star Wars moments and them getting hammered down immediately. Yeah. It just it was really bad. I mean, it went in with all these slapsticky kind of things and then tried to do like these really serious moments, and it didn't gel. It was two different things that didn't work. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is just not the same. Agent Future says that's a big cast for animation. It is. And I only read like 2/3 of it. There's a bunch of other names that were on there too, Agent Future. So it's huge list. Albuquerque says kind of like Final Space. Final Space was weird, dude. Yeah, I actually was watching that and I was like, where are you going with this? And yeah, that one didn't know what it wanted to be. Did it want to be a comedy? Did it want to be a dramedy? Did it want to be, drama? What did it want to be? And it failed at all of it kind of miserably. Stanley said, I just remembered Genlock. When will we get a second season? Didn't you say something like that in the previous? Yeah, so Genlock is supposed to be getting a second season, but who knows? I don't know when that's going to happen. I know it's going to be on HBO Max. That's where it's moving, or that's where it's at. And I know they're working on it. So maybe that's what happened. Usually what ends up happening when you're moving production companies, they could have shut down and lost some of the writers maybe to some other production. They also could have lost the animation house as well because they don't have that constant stream of income in order to keep them afloat. So they close down. All the animators get absorbed by somebody else. And so now that HBO Max has taken over the production, has pumped more money into it, maybe they need to reestablish all those things again and almost start from scratch for a second season, which really sucks because it's a momentum thing. When you're doing animation, you need to keep it moving. It's living paycheck to paycheck is really what it is with the animation companies like that. It sucks, but that's pretty much the case. Yeah, unless you're big like Pixar and whatnot, and then you don't care. Yeah, I don't know why you guys are debating all that. I didn't make it through the trailer of Final Space. Good for you, because yeah. Um, Stanley says, I didn't finish the last season of Final Space. It switches between high drama and silly comedy all the time. It destroys any tension or form. Yeah, it's really unnerving. It really was disjointed is a good word for that one. Yeah, it really is. So the last thing I've got here is, excuse me, I guess belching is what it is. Um, Marvel Studios has officially ended Stan Lee cameos in any Marvel productions because the man is dead. So there are no more Stan Lee cameos in, like, animated series, movies, anything like that. And if you watch Black Widow, like I did last night, yes, there are no Stan Lee cameos in that one. Mr. Roboto, what's that behind me? That's a Jedi Temple Guard mask, is what that is. Mhm. Is this a Spider-Man shirt? Is what you're saying? Yes, it is, Raymond. Hang on a sec if I can do this without falling. There you go. It's Venom approved. That's what that says down there. It's chocolate with a bite. Now, I don't get any money, kickbacks from any of this, but so Amazon has a Marvel t-shirt subscription. It's like 20 bucks a month, and you never know what the shirt is that you're going to get. So they send you a shirt blind. You've paid for it, and it ships to you. You can always return it and get your money back if you don't like the shirt. But so far, I've liked every single shirt that I've gotten. So this was the latest one that came through. This just got to me last week, and I was like, I really like that. It's actually kind of a nice shirt. So yeah. I mean, I've gotten a Doctor Strange shirt that I really like. The one that is just kind of sitting in the closet and I haven't used it yet because it's Christmas themed is the Deadpool Christmas one. That one I'm just like, that's got to be a Christmas kind of thing. Stanley says, I seems I have to watch Black Widow until tomorrow. Uh-huh. Hmm. Would anyone want to be deadlocked the Marvel way? Oh, you mean in the you talking about the character? Yeah, I don't know. Apocrypha, as I also watched Black Widow, going to be hard waiting until Tuesday to talk about it. We could talk about it tomorrow, Apocrypha. That's where spoiler alert comes in. I told everyone. So tomorrow will be spoiler alert. And yes, Black Widow is fair game at that point. So if you're going to be in the spoiler alert chat on that one, Black Widow is fair game on that one, even though I'm doing the review of it on Tuesday. Just so you know. Alvaro says that makes me really miss the Venture Brothers shirt. Yeah, the Venture Brothers shirt club was awesome. It really was. Yeah, I've got within reach because they had all kinds of weird stuff, like my Sergeant. Oh, wow, my Sergeant Hatred hat. I really dig this thing. The thing is, I can only wear this during the winter time because it's fucking insanely warm. It really is. It actually retains a lot of heat. I can only wear that during the summer or winter time. I can't wear it during any other time. And winter here does get pretty damn cold. So Raymond says, so you got the chocolate shirt from a box that you didn't know what you were going to get. Yes, life was like a box of chocolates. That's exactly it, Raymond. Life is like a box of chocolates. Yeah. Africa says, I'm still jealous of your Sergeant Hatred hat. But that's probably the kind of thing you shouldn't wear, especially around people who know about Sergeant Hatred. It's pretty funny. I've said this before. Ben Edlin knows Doc Hammer's artwork. So if you wear any kind of Venture Brothers shirt from the old Venture Brothers show, from the Venture Brothers T-shirt club, he'll recognize the artwork if you ever go and do a signing with him or something like that. And Doc Hammer is just insanely talented as an artist. Insanely talented. He took one of the giant dummies. They're these art pieces, is what they are. They're blank dolls, if you will, but they look like rabbits almost in a way. And he took a giant one that was 3 feet tall, and he did. There was a thing that was going on where artists, all these different famous animators, artists, and stuff like that, were taking these 3 foot tall dummies and painting on them. You know, they would get to, it was a blank dummy. They would paint whatever they wanted on there in their style, and then they would sell them at auction. So what he did for his was he had Doc Venture look like he was piloting the dummy inside of it. It looked like a dome and all that stuff, and he did it in oils. He did it as oil paintings, and it's probably one of the most insanely cool things I've ever seen. And I think it sold for thousands of dollars. What is Ben Endlin up to now? That's a good question, Apple Crow. I mean, he was working on the Tick, so that was the last thing he was doing. He's got money, so it's not like. Well, see, IMDb is taking an insanely long time to load. Philip A. Demick says, planned on seeing Black Widow at the drive-in. They paired it with Cruella just to mock me. Opened a popcorn factory tin and watched it at home for free. I was entertained. Glad you only. I paid the $30 to watch it, so on at home on TV. And what I did was I had dinner as I was watching and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm actually trying to search right now, but it's taking insanely long. There we go. There's Ben Edlund. And it's still chugging along, chugging. Yeah, he hasn't. The Tick is the last thing he's been doing here that they have him. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's taking some time off. I mean, quite honestly, he's been working like nonstop. Yeah. So I mean, he went from Supernatural to Revolution to Gotham to Powers to the Tick, and it looks like he might be taking a little time off as well. Wow, I didn't realize he was actually producer on Firefly. Huh. You learn something new every day. There we go. Raymond says, how long do you get the Black Widow rental for? So it's not a rental, Raymond. When you pay the $30, you essentially own a digital copy as long as you have a subscription to Disney Plus. So yeah, you own a quote unquote digital copy. I mean, you really don't own it. It's as long as you have Disney Plus. I'm probably going to buy it when it comes out on Blu-ray, and do it that way. Yes, I know it's paying even more, but honestly, if you pay and see it in the theater, I can watch this multiple times for the $30 that I spent. I can just keep it on loop going on here if I really wanted to. And that's pretty much the reason why I got it. And I can watch it anytime I want. If I want to watch it at 2:00 in the morning, Much to the chagrin of my neighbors, I can watch it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yes, it is 4K. 4K Dolby Atmos. Raymond. Yes, it is. Yeah, it was actually beautifully well done. I mean, I enjoyed it on my screen. And also I had subtitles too. So I was able to get all the little things that I wanted in there. I watch stuff with subtitles because I'm old. That's what happens. Yeah. Stanley says, was anyone else creeped out by the Loki Sylphie? No, I wasn't. Applecrow says Ben Edlund is the secret ingredient in so many things. Yeah, he is. Well, I mean, it makes sense that he was on Firefly, considering that he was on Angel. You know, he was the producer and director and writer for some of the episodes of Angel. So that makes sense that he was a producer of Firefly. Yeah. Applecrow says also because the subtitles reveal a lot of dialogue that was badly mixed. Yeah. Yeah. You also get little background noises and stuff like that too. They actually put it on, in subtitles, which is kind of cool. So if you don't hear it, even though I have mine cranked up, and I thought the sound was okay on it. Hey, Philip. What? Do you plan on watching Hawkeye series? Yes, I do. When will it be out? I don't know. It's going to be next year. I know. Well, no, actually, I take that back. It might be the end of this year because of how some stuff might have played out. Yeah. I'm thinking that I know they finished filming it. And so Marvel's What If is the next series that's coming out, of course, in August. I believe that Hawkeye might be after that. And then She-Hulk's supposed to be after Hawkeye. That's what I believe is supposed to be happening, is that way. Yeah. Stanley says, are you telling me all the good Whedon stuff was done by Edlin? Yes, I am, Stanley. It was produced. Actually, it had Edlin's hands in it. Edlin is a fucking talented motherfucker, and he's the nicest human being you're ever going to want to meet. Dude is so chill and laid back. He really is. So, and I can see why so many people like working with him and become good friends with him and stay good friends with him for a long time. Just because he seems like a just really cool guy to work for and work with. So much nicer than you, Apple Crow. Much nicer. Will Joss Whedon work again? Possibility. Mr. Roboto. Anything's possible. It's possible. Stanley says, will Teenage Loki reappear in some? Yes. So Stanley, what's been going on with these Marvel shows is they have been introducing to us all the members of the Young Avengers is what they've been doing. So as I've said before in other parts of my podcast, WandaVision, we got the twins, Wiccan, and I can't remember what the call sign was of the speedster, her son. So her two sons, they're both in the Young Avengers. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, Isaiah Bradley's grandson, he becomes Patriot. He gets a blood infusion from transfusion from Isaiah, and actually ends up getting the super soldier serum in him, so he becomes Patriot. And then, of course, we saw Kid Loki in Loki here, so he's in there. We've already seen Cassie Lang, grown-up Cassie Lang, in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and also not Ant-Man and the Wasp, but Avengers Endgame. So that's 5 right there. Yeah. So we're going to get more Young Avengers as well. And that's what they're going to be called, as the Young Avengers. They're working towards that. Raymond says, "Did you hear She-Hulk is going to have fourth wall breaks?" Yeah, I was actually kind of hoping that. The best comic series of hers was done by John Byrne back in the 80s, and she broke the fourth wall all the time, and it was funny as fuck. And that was before Deadpool, by the way. So Deadpool actually, cribbed her shtick, is what happened there. So for anybody who's going, "Oh, she's doing a Deadpool," no, actually, Deadpool does a She-Hulk, is what he does. And I'm actually looking forward to that. Wiccan and Speed, yes, thank you. Yeah, the Pet Avengers is what you're talking about, Raymond. Yes, there is the Pet Avengers out there as well. They are doing an animated version of the DC Pets, superpowered pets, and I believe The Rock is supposed to be voicing Crypto, if I'm not mistaken. They released a trailer for it fairly in the last month or so, and it didn't look like shit, but it didn't look great either. So it's supposed to be a movie, from what I understand. The Animengers? No. They call them the Pet Avengers, is what they call them in the comics. The DC version, I can't remember what they're called. Yeah. Cosmos, the Russian space dog, Apple Crow. No, he's on his own. He's got his own thing. He's usually with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmos. Yeah. I do know some of these characters every now and then. So, yeah. I really want Alligator Loki to be in the Young Avengers. I just found him funny. I really did. Anyone here invest in cryptocurrency, or is it a passing fad? I don't know, Raymond. I haven't done it, but other people might have. Get out before quantum computing. That's good advice on anything. Might as well get out before quantum computing. Yeah. That's all I got for you guys, really. Sorry, I'm looking at a little dog curled up on her pillow. She had a rough morning. She went to the vet this morning. She had to get some vaccinations. And I'm pretty sure they stuck a finger up her butt too, because that's what doctors do. If you're not watching them, that's what happens. Yep. All right. With that said, what else do I have going on this week? Well, tomorrow is going to be spoiler alert, and that's basically a free for all. You guys can spoil everything that's been released legally. Like Black Widow is the last thing that's been released, so you guys can talk about it. That's what we'll do. We'll be talking about all kinds of stuff there. Monday I'll be off. Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? And that's where I'm going to actually review the Black Widow. Wednesday will be the season finale of Loki. That's right. Loki's right there. Thursday I'll be off. Friday will be another episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. And then Saturday will be Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about, we talk about it. Raymond says, can't wait to watch and talk about Black Widow. See you guys tomorrow. Stanley said, I tried to invest in cryptocurrency, but all they did was send me snacks for Superman's dog. I'm debating whether or not to put you on timeout for that one, Philip. I really am. You know what? Apple Crow said a lot worse jokes and hasn't been put on timeout, so I'll let you have that one. Stanley says, is there a reason they showed Black Widows before the last Loki episode? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if there is. I haven't seen the last episode of Loki, so who knows? Maybe there was something that's maybe there is a tie-in. I doubt it's a tie-in, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. That's what it is. Yeah, thanks for playing along there, Apple Crow. All right, everybody. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos, my vast video library, and pops up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below there. Also, if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. Also, if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. Also, I have all the links to my social media, all the links to my pages, everything like that is up there. Yeah. Apple Crow says, look, when you have a skill, do you have a skill? When did that happen? Have you been taking classes on the side? Do you have a tutor as well? Has someone been helping you, Apple Crow? Good for you. I'm glad you've gotten professional help to develop a skill. A skill. All right. With that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow for spoiler alert. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have to have Ben Edlin come in and clean up your mess because, God damn, that man is a miracle worker. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care. Also, get those vaccine shots, wear those masks. Stay safe and take care, and I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. Thanks. See ya.